Welcome back to season 1 of Snubs and Dubs, where we're talking the snubs and dubs of the 69th Academy Award for Best Picture. I'm your host, Kyle Tobiasson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jason Miller. Jason, how's it going today?
It's going really good. It's so icy out there.
Oh my God.
It's insane. We've had, I think, 7 consecutive months of freezing rain now. And every day it melts a little bit and then refreezes harder at night. And it's slick out there. This is the first time I've driven in about a week and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can tell.
I decided to go for a walk on my break yesterday, and I took my life in my hands. Some people's sidewalks, like, they took care of it. They chopped the ice. They put the salt down, and it was clear. But when you get to those walkways, that's just pure ice because of the rain that fell and completely froze over. It's scary.
You might as well take a run and jump and just slide the whole way across. Yeah. That's your best bet to survive, really.
And it's like the snow is covered in a layer of ice too. So that's not even your friend to like bail into.
Oh, nothing helps. You just need to go straight happy feet out there on the ice.
Yeah. Did you watch anything in the last week?
No, I have not. I haven't had any media time.
We did have to do 2 movies this week because, as the listeners will soon find out, we're doing a little bonus Christmas episode in a couple days.
Ooh, that's exciting. Yeah. I wonder what it's going to be.
So look forward to that. I did some watching, though.
And what did you get watched this week?
So due to the content of today's episode, I decided, it's probably time to get through the rest of the Matrix trilogy. Because I had seen the first one a lot. I've watched the first one quite a few times, but I had never gotten through the other 2. And so I finally sat down and watched Reloaded and Revolutions, and they're good. Yeah. I watched Reloaded in like 2 parts. I watched the first half, and then I like got bored or tired or just I wasn't in the mood for it, so I stopped it. And as far as I could tell, the second half was way better. That might have just been my perception because of my state at the time of watching the first half. Yeah. But that's the second half of Reloaded definitely was a little bit better than the first half. But Revolutions, pretty fun too. I'm hoping Resurrections, which comes out the week of this episode going live, is going to hit those numbers, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it, because by the time you're hearing this, I'll be seeing it on Wednesday of that week. So very exciting.
Like, I really want to keep up with all the new Matrix movies, but I'm so far behind. I've only seen 1.
I mean, it's only 2 movies, so it's not that far behind.
Horrifically far behind. I can never recover from this.
It was good to watch 1 and 2 back to back, because I think they filmed them back to back and they came out like in back to back years.
Yeah.
So because the story was kind of consecutive.
It's like it goes right into the next one.
Pretty much. Yeah. And so it worked I watched them in like the same night. I watched the second half of Reloaded and then went right into Revolutions. And it worked kind of as one complete narrative. But yeah, I also watched Happiest Season.
That sounds sweet. What was up with the Happiest Season?
So it was like a Hulu exclusive Christmas movie starring Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie. I forget her name. But anyways,
Mackenzie.
Let's just say Mackenzie. Like she's our friend or something.
Good old Mac. Good old Max. Yeah, what's up with Max? How's she doing? Or he?
Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah. Classic Mackenzie Davis right there.
And it's about them. They're like a lesbian couple, and one of the characters, Mackenzie Davis's character, isn't out to her parents, and so she takes her girlfriend to her parents' house for the holidays, which is Kristen Stewart, and they try to like hide the fact that they're in a relationship, and there's just like some conflict in that, and it was really good. Yeah, I really liked it. It was really nice.
No, was like it's at the end, like the climax is that she comes out, that kind of stuff, or does it actually stay hidden throughout the whole thing?
Well, kind of spoilers.
Yeah, but now I'm kind of curious.
But I guess it is kind of the inevitability of this type of movie, because she does like stay at the beginning of the movie when she reveals this to Kristen Stewart's character that she is going to come out after the holidays, but because her dad is like running for mayor or something, she doesn't want to put any stress on that, and so she's just trying to leave it until after the holidays and things can kind of settle down a little bit. But other shit happens, and she has like other ex-girlfriends that Kristen Stewart's character meets throughout
and has to fight and overcome in combat for her love.
This is not Scott Pilgrim. But,
wish every movie was Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, right. but like it kind of gives her an idea of like maybe how she treats her girlfriends and how she like hides it at the expense of her romantic partners. And so it's got some really interesting conflict. And
it sounds like a lot's going on and really builds to a crazy climax.
It was a cool, I mean, I got a lot of lesbian action in this week.
Oh yeah.
Because I watched Happy Season and then this movie. But
and Bound has it in Bound.
Yes. Yeah. But they were both great. I would recommend. Yeah. I mean, we're getting to Bound, but the last movie I watched I saw West Side Story last night. Ooh. The 2021 Steven Spielberg remake sort of thing of the play and the 1960 movie. It's good.
Nice.
It's very well crafted. The set pieces are phenomenal. Like the dance sequences are just huge and like visually beautiful to watch. Like the costumes and the performances were really good. However, I think it's a fancy coat of paint on an aging story.
Yeah.
And sometimes like they updated it in some ways, but I do think that there was some areas where like it kind of took me out of it just because of like how it is.
Yeah.
And I'll get a little mild spoilers.
I mean, it's West Side Story.
It's been out for like ages.
Yeah.
But there is a point where a very, very horrible thing happens to one of the main characters. Okay, full spoilers.
Just get it. It's West Side Story.
Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But basically, the main character, the main guy, kills his love interest's brother. And it's kind of an accident in a way, but it was a very reactive response. And because he killed his friend and then blah, blah, blah. So anyways, the main guy runs back to his girlfriend's house or like his, love interest who has only been together for like 2 days maybe. And he's like, I killed your brother. I'm sorry. I'm going to go turn myself into the cops because I can't forgive myself. And she's like, she cries for like 30 seconds and it's like, no, you can't leave me. You can't do that.
Okay.
And it's just like immediately over it.
Yeah.
And they're going to run away together that night.
No, he killed your brother. Yeah. Come on.
Very quick turnaround.
I mean, you one less Christmas shop right there. And one less, if you weren't huge on them, that saves you probably like $150 a year on presents. So I can see that. That's good savings actually.
But yeah, so that was kind of like my one gripe with it. But overall, very, very cool one to watch.
Excellent.
But that's all I watched.
That's still quite a bit. It's more than I watched.
Yeah.
That's still quite a bit, but
cool.
Coming to the holiday break here. Oh, we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching. And I don't know. I couldn't think of a word that rhymes with watching that still applies to the concept. Watching and, well, let's get into this episode.
By the next episode, I will have seen Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm going next Thursday. So yeah, I'll have seen it.
Okay, every time that I read Spider-Man No Way Home, I read it as No Way Home.
You know what's so funny? I saw your tweet about that, and I had been like saying that I said that in my head once. I was like, "No way, Jose," and I was like, "That's so funny." But if I write that out, it's not going to be funny on a tweet. And so I just like in my head was like chuckling, "No way, Jose." And like I just couldn't figure out how to get it out, but now here it is. No way, Jose.
No way, home. Yeah. I made that into a tweet. It like died at like one like. It was terrible. It was not a good tweet. It was a good call.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get into this. Of course, season 1 of Snubs and Dubs is covering the films from the year 1996. And for episode 19, we are talking about Bound. Had you heard about this one before?
No, never heard about. I think you had told me something about this because of like the timing of the Matrix movies and some stuff about that. So that was the first time that I heard about Bound. I did not know about it before. Did you?
I only knew about it after like doing some research kind of into it. And I think I was watching some stuff about the Matrix, and this movie came up in kind of relation to it because it's the first movie by the Wachowskis, not the first movie they wrote. I think they wrote another movie before this.
It was like Assassins or something they were working on before this one. Yeah.
But this was the first movie they directed before the Matrix. And so it's always going to be kind of attached to their filmography and their history. So when I saw it come up and I saw the reviews were quite strong, I was like, sure, let's pop this in. And actually, a little kind of behind the scenes, I originally had slotted Jingle All the Way in this spot before regulating it to our bonus episode And I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad you did that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like genre-wise, they're about the same tone.
Yeah.
Similar movies, Jingle All the Way and Bound. But I think they're going to work well as a pairing.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are interested in Bound, I've included the links to the physical media related to it in the show notes. If you buy through that link, it'll help out our show. Or if you have any other Amazon shopping to do, maybe some last-minute Christmas shopping, follow that general link and it'll help out our show in the process. A reminder that this is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation, so if you haven't seen Bound yet and you want to, go ahead and do so. But if not, we're going to get into it. Sparks fly when Violet sets eyes on Corky in an elevator. Violet is the girlfriend of a violent gangster, Caesar, while Corky is a fresh out of prison and doing renovations on the apartment next door. As the two women launch into a passionate love affair, they assemble an intricate plan for Violet to escape from Caesar with $2 million of the mob's money. But the most important part is to make it out alive. Bound is written and directed by Lana and Lilly Wachowski. They are identified as Wachowski brothers in this movie, but they have since transitioned. It stars Jennifer Tilly as Violet, Gina Gershon as Corky, Joe Pantoliano as Caesar, and John Ryan as Mickey Malnato. It has a runtime of 108 minutes and it released on August 31st, 1996 at the Venice Film Festival. Jason, what did you think of Bound?
Oh, Kyle, is so goddamn good. This movie was so good.
It was a really good.
I have never felt as like in tune with what the movie was trying to make you felt ever before like I was on this one. Sometimes it was hot and like I couldn't look at the screen because it was just a little too hot. And then sometimes like, I couldn't look at the screen because it was just too like suspenseful.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes it was just too violent. It was incredible. What a ride.
I know. It's great. It's like a really rush of 108 minutes.
Yeah.
And I also found this was really ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
It felt like a movie that could have come out like last year, just with kind of like the 90s sort of filter over it.
Easily. Other than the sunglasses, yeah, this could have been coming out today.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, really good. Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched this one twice, obviously. The first time to watch it, second time for the plot stuff. I just watched it twice. Like normally I skip around. I didn't bother. I wanted to watch it again so bad. It was so good.
It's really good. It actually surprised me because I saw the decently good reviews and I was like, okay, you know what? It's sometimes indie films or first films, they don't get a lot of reviews, so maybe it's skewed higher. But no, this is a great movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Fuck. All right.
Let's get into it. Cool.
Waste no more time.
We open with a trippy shot slowly moving past a bunch of objects in shape that are hard to make out, while quotes from the movie you're about to watch fade in and out as well. You soon realize you're in a closet as a wall of shoes comes into frame. Then you realize that there's a person in this closet. And wait, they're tied up. Oh no. Now you may be wondering how our intrepid hero Corky got in this particular predicament. So let's back this up a couple of days, shall we?
This is like one of those, this is me.
Yeah.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
That's exactly how, especially like with the cut to the elevator. It kind of felt like, hold on a minute. Hey, you're wondering how I got here, aren't you?
Yeah, just like needed the rewind sound effect.
Awesome. We rewind to Corky getting into an elevator as Violet calls out to her to hold the doors. As both Violet and Caesar get onto the elevator, they hit the 10th floor button, and things start going up from there, since it's an elevator. As the metal box brings them to their destination, Corky and Violet start staring each other down like they're giving each other eye exams, and Caesar just watches the door completely clueless of the 10 floors of eye fucking going on behind him. I'll warn you right now, this is going to be a pretty expletive-heavy episode, since this is a pretty balls-to-the-wall movie.
Yeah.
But once Violet and Caesar get off the elevator, Corky burns an image of Violet's legs into her retinas, and then opens up the apartment beside the couple to begin getting some work done on it as a contractor. This was the first time in the movie that I felt like I needed a cigarette break.
Yeah, it does really get you into it right away.
Yeah, like right away. They are just salivating over each other in the elevator.
Yeah, it feels like they waste no time getting these two together, and they don't, because Violet comes onto her pretty hard.
Oh, immediately.
But yet it's like half an hour in before they actually get to the scam that they're trying to pull, and so you do get a good half an hour of them together and getting this relationship.
I will say I loved the pacing in this movie. Yeah. Everything felt like at the right time, the right tempo. It was amazing. Yeah,
I actually, the reason I know it was half an hour in, because by the time I got to there, I was like, oh yeah, like we haven't gotten to the point where this scam is supposed to start, and like when they have the the poster with the money hanging, and like I didn't know when this was going to happen, and then here it is.
And then boom, you get right into that at the right time.
I was just so into it already.
Oh my God. Speaking of getting work done and contracting, Violet and Caesar start getting it on in the next apartment over, and Corky listens in since there's probably thicker walls on the condom they're using than there is separating the rooms. Once Violet and Caesar finish their drilling, Corky starts hers and begins clearing the bathtub drain, which gets interrupted by Violet bringing in a cup of coffee for Corky. They have a conversation about how the old tenant had moved back to India, and now Corky is here to fix the place up. Or something like that, because at this point the sexual tension was so thick, I don't think I have the physical capacity to remember events, dialogue, or what day it was. This is the second time I needed a cigarette break in the movie. But during this conversation, Violet asks Corky to not run the heavy equipment so much during the day, since Violet is a bit of a night owl and tends to sleep during the day, which is tough with these paper-thin walls. It is at this moment the movie has about a 50-50 chance of being about vampires.
Yeah, definitely could have.
But then Violet starts comparing Corky to her father, and we get snapped back to the real world by a tidal wave of hormones as Violet exits the apartment and tells Corky to drop off the mug at any time. The next day, Corky's work gets interrupted by a phone call as her employer and the building landlord calls Corky to tell her that Violet's tubes need fishing, since her earring had fallen into the grease trap in the sink. While Corky finishes up the job, Violet invites her to the couch for a drink, and the sexual tension gets cranked all the way to a sexual 11-shin or 12-shin. Obviously, at this point, they start getting it all the way on, but are interrupted when Caesar comes home early and interrupts the party. He's initially mad when he walks in on the two of them, but thinks, must be some understanding when he sees the guest is a woman, and makes some chit-chat with Corky that includes such hits as telling her he knows she must be an inmate, asking her what crime she committed, and then giving her money.
Yeah.
That was a weird way to talk to someone.
And what an introduction to Caesar too. Yeah. Like he was also like a really good character.
Yeah, because you get like that quick snap where he's super mad and then turns it right off when he sees that it's just Corky who's in the apartment, probably for, I don't know, being friends or something. I don't care. But you see that a couple times in the movie where he's able to turn it on and off as like the character. And you're like, oh, this guy's cold blooded.
Yeah. It's awesome. I like the line is like fucking dark in here.
Yeah. That was a good imitation right there.
Thank you.
That was a good Caesar. Corky makes a speedy exit and Violet catches her in the truck to apologize. Not for what she did, but for what she didn't do. Which then becomes a thing they immediately do in the back of the truck, back at Corky's place, and then also at Violet's place the next day. Post-coitally, we learn that Caesar is part of the mob and met Violet when he bought a club she was working at. Corky opens up as well and says that she was locked up for the redistribution of wealth, though clearly she's better at redistributing Violet's clothes and bedsheets. The post-sex sweet talk sours as conversations about how the two are the same, according to Violet, is disagreed with by Corky, who sees Violet as more helpless and innocent deep down. Violet says that she's smarter than Corky, so they kind of get into a spat on their third day of their relationship. You hate to see that.
You do.
Rocky start. The next time we see Violet's apartment, it's a bit of a role reversal as two men start going at it in the bathroom, with it being a Violet interrogation, and the two men being mob enforcer Johnny Marzone and thieving middle manager / money skimmer Shelley. Fun fact about this movie that I hope you don't have written down, Kyle.
Okay.
This is the only movie that has ever gone from two women fingering each other on the sofa to two men cutting fingers off in the adjacent bathroom in 14 minutes of screen time. No one has ever done that before. I was not ready for that.
I don't have that fun fact, but thank you for that.
I didn't research that one, but there's no way. There's no goddamn way anyone else has ever done that before. But that was like a pretty intense like interrogation scene. It's quite violent. It's not like I didn't have to look away. And honestly, I'm not the best at seeing violence on screen. Normally I get like a little uncomfortable and want to look away. I could manage all that, but we came close.
Yeah. And you also get a good sense of the, what's the other guy's name?
Mickey?
Maybe, yeah.
Like the older dude, right?
Not the older dude.
Oh, Johnny.
Johnny, yeah. You get a sense of like Johnny and his like kind of just rage. And
he's goddamn crazy.
He's like a loose cannon. Yeah. And this movie is really good at character introductions and getting a good sense of like who these people are in their first scene. Yeah.
You get like the hierarchy right away too, because Johnny's doing the actual work. You think Caesar might be like the head guy, but when he goes out of the bathroom to talk to Violet, Mickey's like, Caesar asked you to grab something. That was the worst mobster accent I've ever done. And I'm sticking with it. Caesar, I asked you to grab me the shears. And then he goes and grabs him for the finger chopping.
Yep. But then he directs Violet too. Like he tells her to go. And like even after Caesar told him to stay.
Exactly.
And so you know who the boss is here.
Yeah. It's Mickey. Just Mickey Mouse. Violet steps out for some air and brings Corky down to the bar for some drinks to reveal that she wants out of this mob life she's been dragged into, and that there's about to be $2 million in her apartment that the two of them could use to run away and start a new life. The two start hatching their plan for another redistribution of wealth that gets overlaid with the real-time playout of the events, and it all starts with Caesar bringing home a bloody bag of money, complaining that Johnny had shot Shelley over top of his stash, soaking everyone and the cash in his blood. Caesar regales how he punched Johnny right in the face afterwards, knowing that it's stupid considering that Johnny is the son of the mob boss Gino Marzone, who is about to come to town to pick up these big stacks. As Caesar spends the whole night laundering money in a very literal sense, Violet tells Corky the exact details she'll need for the heist. The money is in a locked case, Johnny and Caesar hate each other, and Gino only drinks one type of scotch.
Mm-hmm.
With all this information, Corky comes up with a Velma-style theory of how to pull this whole thing off that starts with Violet dropping Gino's scotch to slip out to the store, letting Corky into the building to pop the briefcase, steal the money, and drop a heavy stack of newspapers in its place. The next phase requires Violet to lie to Caesar and say that she saw Johnny in the lobby ripping out of the building. This gets Caesar's "I've been fucked" senses tingling, and he opens the briefcase to find the most horrifying stack of paper imaginable. Print news. Corky's final phase of the plan is Caesar making a break for it to save his hide, but that's where she makes her first mistake. Caesar never runs. Caesar decides to ride the meeting with Gino and Johnny out and find a way to get Gino to believe that it was Johnny who stole the money, not him. When the meeting shakes out, however, Caesar doesn't quite get what he wants and reverts to the classic plan B. Pull out a gun and start making threats. Gino tries to tell Caesar that they're family to disarm him, but Caesar says, "Father, more like Godfather," and sends him straight to heaven with a couple of shots to the chest.
Yeah.
Naturally, Caesar has to kill Johnny and the family bodyguard. Now we got a real sticky situation on our hands.
Fuck, this was such a great scene.
It was.
Every bit from like when they were breaking down the plan to when the moment where Caesar decides he's not going to run and you're like, oh shit, like this is fucked. And the tension in the room between those characters, like with you knowing that the money's in the next room over and they haven't stolen it, but that he hates Johnny and
and like when the briefcase is on the table, you're tensed out too because you're like, what's gonna happen when Gino opens this? And like you're kind of on Caesar's side a little bit because like you're scared of Gino and you hate Johnny, so like you kind of want him to win, but like ultimately you want Violet and Corky to win. But also they've been cutting back and forth of Corky being tied up in the closet, so you know something goes wrong at some point for her to get there, but you don't know where or what. Oh man, it's so good.
This is like masterclass in tension here. Like,
I know.
It's just
it's crazy.
Loved it.
At this point, everything starts unraveling for Caesar, and we see a couple different threads get dealt with as he outmaneuvers the cop sent to check on the many gunshots, forcefully prevents Violet from leaving at gunpoint, tears up Johnny's place to find cash that Corky had actually stashed in paint buckets one apartment over, and Caesar calls the next in command, Mickey, to say that Gino and Johnny never showed up to buy some time.
That police scene too was like right after. That was so tense too.
And that's also so tight because the police show up right after he finishes offing these guys. So they have a couple minutes to like dump the bodies, hide the blood everywhere, and pull that off.
And then like when the cop like steps on the rug and you see the blood just squish through and you're like, fuck. They're going to find out.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They're going to arrest him. And the other cop's taking a piss in the bathroom where the three dead bodies are in the bathtub.
Oh like, my God.
Caesar, why'd you let him go in there? Just say you're remodeling it or something. God damn it. Oh my God. Jesus. Again, really good tension. And then also like when he's tearing up Johnny's place, you see how desperate he is to find this money, how like, you know, there's no chance it's going to happen, but like you feel for him because he's in this tight situation and he has no time before he has to start like making his next play.
And that comes back later too, because they go to Johnny, the other group, Mickey's group, goes to Johnny's place and finds it's been like ransacked. So he's more concerned because of that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I do love Caesar like, oh yeah, that was me. Whoops. I did that one.
Yeah.
Back at their apartment, Caesar starts to grab the supplies that'll be needed to dump the bodies, which horrifically are all readily available in their own kitchen cabinet. And Violet calls Corky to let her know the plan has absolutely gone to shit. Their call gets cut off when Caesar finds Violet on the phone and redials the number to find that trouble is lurking the next door over as a ringing phone goes through the thin walls and tips him off as to who really stole the money.
Yeah. The setup of the walls being so thin was definitely just leading up to this particular moment where they're literally a room next to each other and they're calling the phone. Oh yeah.
And it's all so tight.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens makes complete sense. There's no like, oh, well, why would they do it that way? That's so silly. Like everything makes so much sense. She's in the next apartment over because she's been doing work there. They wouldn't met if she wasn't.
Yeah.
She had to stash the money there waiting for Violet to take care of everything. She couldn't have gone somewhere else. Like, oh man, everything is just, it's so tight.
Yeah.
It's so well done. Corky, knowing the jig is up, breaks into Caesar's apartment to save Violet and kill Caesar, but gets pistol whipped instead and suffers the first of many major brain traumas that'll be coming in the next 20 minutes. Corky comes to and is forced to divulge where the money is when Caesar starts another game of chicken fingers with Violet's hand and pair of clippers, but is unable to verify this info before Mickey arrives to figure out just what the heck is going on. Caesar gently helps Corky back into unconsciousness and sticks her in the closet, while pretending that Violet was helping him de-stress in the shower, wink wink, when Mickey opens the door with his level 100 lockpicking. At this point, Violet decides it's time to kick some ass and uses one of the Marzone's phones stashed in the bathroom to call Caesar, who is dealing with Mickey in the other room, and tell him to lie about Gino, calling to say that he was in a crash and needs Mickey to pick him up from a hospital. With Mickey out of the way once again, Caesar brings Violet to check out the cash at gunpoint, but forgets one small detail. Violet always runs as quickly as she possibly can. A chase scene ensues where Violet bolts to the bottom of the stairs, then hops back in the elevator to ride it up to the 10th floor, forcing Caesar to run the stairs again in the worst scene of human torture we have witnessed so far this movie. Meanwhile, Corky had popped her bondage and grabbed the money, setting a trap for Caesar, who runs back to check on it before getting another wrench in his plans, getting hit a lot by a wrench. The two wrestle and Caesar gives Corky another concussion for the hat trick. Just at that moment, though, Violet's back and armed. She tells Caesar that it's over. He says, "What are you going to do? Shoot me?" To which Violet responds with several bullets shooting him.
Yeah.
Just like another famous historical Caesar before him, Caesar goes out doing what he hated the most, dying. The epilogue sees Violet lying to Mickey and pinning everything on a recently disappeared Caesar before giving him a smooch goodbye. She then hops into Corky's truck, drops some sick closing lines, and they ride off into the sunset, likely to go continue screwing like rabbits.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. And at the end there, it kind of parallels a moment that you highlighted earlier in this where they were complaining that they weren't anything alike.
Yeah.
And Corky has the line, it's like...
Something like, you know what the difference between you and I is? And Violet's like, what? And she's like, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because she was like, no. She's like, I don't either. And I think that was it. Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
That was the ending. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. There's so many scenes in here where I just was like pausing in awe of like how clever it was. Like Violet running down all the stairs. She knows that the elevator's there because Mickey had just left.
Yep.
And chances are no one's come in this late at night. Like, so it's probably at the lobby. So she runs down the stairs, catches the elevator, goes back up and buys enough time to go get the gun from the... Oh my God.
Yeah.
This stuff is so tight.
I know. There's another line that I really liked in the scenes where Caesar was confronting Violet. And because he knows that Corky's gay. And so he's like, what did she do to you?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, everything you couldn't. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, damn. Caesar, when he was standing in the paint about to get shot by Violet, he was already dead from just the fire she was spitting. He was a dead man walking. The bullets didn't matter.
Yeah.
Cut down by her words more than anything else.
Yeah. That was one of those lines where I was just sat there almost like offended by how good the writing was.
Yeah.
It was just like, ugh.
And like, I can't say enough about how much I loved all of the characters too.
Yeah.
They're like, not only are they all incredibly well acted, but they're so well written that even though like this is an hour 40, something like that.
Yeah.
And like I could have watched this 4 times in a row. Like it didn't feel, there was nothing felt too long. It was all so like well done that even though you don't have a lot of time with the characters, you immediately know who they are, what they're doing, and they're all like quite fleshed out.
Yeah.
I think maybe Corky didn't have a ton of depth. She was kind of just like the badass protagonist.
Yeah.
But like it's made up for with how good of a character Violet is. You see such a progression from when you first meet her and she's like, very sexually outgoing, that's for sure, but still like kind of trapped with Caesar. And then at the end, she's freeing herself.
Yeah. I think Caesar was probably my favorite character.
He's
and
also
like the
so
acting
good.
is just so fucking good. Like the acting was unreal.
He throws it on when he's like breaking into Johnny's house to tear it up. And then he has to call Mickey because he's running out of time and someone's going to start asking questions. He goes from like this rage induced, like, I'm going to kill whoever to like, oh, hey, Mickey, something went wrong with Gino. Like just drops it.
Yeah. And it's like all kind of in tight locations too. Like you can tell like you don't know this is low budget because of like how fucking good it is and how well it's crafted, but it's only really like 4 apartment rooms that this takes place in, and that's all it needs.
Yeah, it's like the apartment that Caesar and Violet own, the one that Corky's working on. We get a couple shots back at Corky's shitty apartment that has like a mattress on the floor, and that's it.
Yeah,
there's like a bar. And that's kind of everywhere. Johnny's place, and that's everywhere you go. Like that's the only scenes they have, but still, it feels so good.
Yeah.
But I think like how contained it is also builds on how the movie makes you feel, because you feel like Violet's trapped in there.
Yeah.
Man, can't say enough.
I really can't. I just want to. I could say I love this movie so many different ways.
I know,
and it's like how we're ending all of our sentences right now. It's just like, yeah, this part was good. Oh, this whole movie's fucking good. That's just like how it is. Yeah.
Okay, when the movie started, or maybe not when it started, but when you get some scenes of Corky tied up, how did you think it was going to get there? Like, did you have any idea where it was going to go wrong or anything like that?
No, I don't think I had an assumption about like what was going to happen to that point. You just know that it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised pretty much the whole way. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I thought she was going to get like, she was going to dupe Caesar or whatever, but then they get caught by like the mob at large. So when Caesar just offs everyone in one scene, I was back to the drawing board because that wasn't it. No. Which also felt really cool because I didn't know if he was going to shoot them when Gino starts talking to him like, "Hey, Caesar, I'm with family. What you doing with that gun?"
Yeah.
And then he starts blasting. Like, I wasn't sure if he was going to or not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either. I was wondering how he was going to get out of that, and he just fucking shoots them all.
Yeah.
And you just know like he's digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole.
Yeah.
And
I think it's like all of the characters are a really good image. Like Corky's a super cool character, super empowering as well. Like none of the women in this movie they have all the tools they need on their own, which is again makes it feel like a more modern movie, not like it was shot in 1996.
Yeah,
where like the men in the movie none of them are needed. They're all like kind of like the ones they're working against.
Yeah,
and these two have like everything that they need, which is so refreshing. And obviously this passes the Bechdel test. Like clearly in the first 20 seconds it does.
Yeah.
But the whole movie just feels so like you said, like it could have been made any day now.
Yeah.
And it would have felt in place, which is really amazing.
Fuck. Do you want to hear what other people thought?
Let's do that. It better be good. If they say anything bad, I don't want to hear it.
Well, I've kind of mentioned already that it had good reviews, but what do you think the critical and audience responses were, Rotten Tomatoes wise?
I'm probably going to be way overshooting this, but I'm going to say critics are going to be like 82. In audience, maybe like an 85, 86.
Audiences were 82.
Okay.
I was close. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good. Thank God they went the way I was hoping they'd go.
Yeah. IMDb had a 7.3 and the lowest was Metacritic with a 61.
Whatever, Metacritic.
Yeah.
Have you ever Metacritic? They suck.
It pulled in $7 million on a budget of $4.5 million. So
it's criminal that it didn't make more money, because that could have been like, I mean, I guess it is heavier material. That's not a family movie. No. That is not open to a lot of audiences.
Yeah. And like, you have to assume there might have been some more ignorance at the time, that maybe the barrier to entry to this movie was not like for some people.
Yeah. A movie about 2 lesbian lovers who commit a bunch of murders to steal money and like have their own happy life. Yeah. It's against the mob. So it's not like it's senseless violence. It's all very sensical violence. It's against the mob.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that is a pretty heavy subject material that now wouldn't be as much of like a head turner. It would be like, yeah, that sounds like a sick ass premise, but I'm sure in 1996, like it's a different feeling around that.
Yeah. And I think they had a lot of struggle trying to get this one off the ground. I'm trying to see if I actually wrote this fact here. No. So essentially, when they were talking to the studios about this movie, one of the executives suggested that Corky be a man.
Oh, that would have been so lame.
Yeah, and they were like, they didn't want to do it because obviously, like, that's just any other movie at that point. That movie's been done.
So boring.
Yeah, so I'm so glad they stuck to their guns on that one.
Oh, if it, like the whole movie sucks if it's a man who saves Violet from doing this.
Yeah.
The fact that it's the two of them working together to like overcome their circumstances, way better. Way better movie.
Yeah. It was 160th in the domestic box office, I couldn't find a worldwide number because I think it was too far down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I think this movie deserves a lot of life after the fact, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope a lot of people revisit it.
I think I was texting people to watch this movie like in the first 15 minutes. I'm like, no, this is a must see already. This is so well done. It can't go down from here. And it only went up.
Yeah, it did. And like, it's kind of sad that it does maybe linger in the shadow of The Matrix.
Yeah.
Because obviously this was the film before The Matrix. And then they've, The Matrix was a fucking huge sensation.
Massive.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And so now this one maybe kind of fell behind a little bit in terms of like Wachowski filmography. But like, yeah, I think especially nowadays, like these are like great stories that are worth seeing nowadays. It's
now, I'm going to say something that is very cancelable. This is a hot take.
Okay.
I may not be on the Jingle All the Way episode after I say this. Bound was better than The Matrix.
I agree.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
I don't think you're
safe.
Yeah. I think in terms of storytelling and like tension and just how tight this story was, I agree. It's better than The Matrix. Like The Matrix obviously had such huge influence on like pop culture, on how action movies are made, bullet time, like all those slow motion effects and camera moves, so inspirational and so influential. This movie still is like, I think narratively stronger than that.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, I'm not spending the entire movie thinking, why are they using humans as batteries? That's a silly premise. This is like everything about this. Every detail is locked down tight. Just screw straight to the wood tight.
Yeah. Well, obviously we loved it, but do we want to put these in numbers now?
Yeah, let's quantify just how much we love it. If we've invented numbers high enough for that yet, we may not have. What would you give this for enjoyment?
I think I'm going 4.5. I'm maybe not as comfortable saying 5, but like obviously I've been gushing about this movie this whole time, so I'm like I loved it.
Yeah,
but 5 might be. Yeah, it's 4.5.
That's fair. I'm going 5. I love this movie. It fucking rocked. Everything was so great about this. I'm sure there might be movies out there that I like more, but like they're in the same tier no matter what. So I'm happy with that. I think 4.5 makes a lot of sense as well.
Thank you.
I respect that. Kyle, what's your Kraft single slice score?
Do we get a sponsor?
I'm saying that there is the opportunity for a particular cheese brand to sponsor us on this. And we, we're willing to make a relationship work here. We'll stick that cheese together.
Just manifesting the Kraft mac and cheese Kraft.
2022 Kraft single slices sponsorship of Snubs and Dubs. Manifest it.
I thought they did a lot with like the small areas that they were given. I think I'm even gonna go 4.5 again.
4.5 again.
I think that's.
Well, in repeat of what we've done recently, I'm gonna go 5.
Wow.
I just like, how could you have made a tighter movie? I don't know how.
Right.
All the acting, every acting scene was good. Like, the writing.
Let's get to execution now. You're talking about writing.
Execution. Kyle, what's your score for execution?
I think I'm gonna go 5 on this one because it is so fucking tight.
It's
and the
so
acting,
good.
Mwah.
Oh my God, the acting. It's incredible. Like it's such a tight story. And it whole way through just executed. So I'm gonna give that a 5.
Yep.
Rewatchability.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm watching this one again. I think I'm going 5 on this one.
Yep.
I'm going to watch this and recommend this to a load of people.
Yep. Kyle, I got to give this, I think this might be the first perfect 20 out of 20.
Jesus.
I'm giving this a rewatch a 5. I rewatched it immediately afterwards, despite it being Wednesday on a work night. I started the first round at like 9, and then I just watched it again. I barely slept that night. And I don't regret it.
No.
Not one bit. At the end of the second one, I'm thinking, do I have a third in me? I didn't. I went to bed.
You did it.
But like it was close.
Yeah, I'm like angry that this was just a rental. I think I'm gonna go buy this Blu-ray now. Because
this is a need.
Yeah. This is ownership material right here. Yes.
Well, Kyle, I think it's pretty easy to figure out the scores here. You've given this a 19 out of 20 for 95.
Yeah.
And I gave this the Snubs and Dubs first 20 out of 20.
Wow.
For 100%.
That's unreal.
I'm glad it was this one. Literally, The Matrix who? I don't even care about that stupid movie anymore. Bullet Time. I don't have time to watch anything other than Bound, 1996.
Do we even need to go past our top 5 for this rankings? Then?
Oh, I don't need to. Do you?
No, I don't really need to.
All right, we're going to just quick recap of Kyle, your top 5 and where you want to put this in that. All right. Top to bottom, your top 5. Fargo, Scream, Swingers, Jerry Maguire, Independence Day.
I think it's going number 2.
Number 2. I like that.
I don't know if it's Fargo. It's really close.
It's so close.
Like, I feel like I could watch both of them equally the same amount of times.
Yeah.
And I'd feel the same way about. Yeah. Okay.
I want to this is as close to a tie as I feel like I've come to. I think I'm also going to put Bound second.
Wow.
But it's so close though.
You gave it a perfect score.
I know.
And it's going number 2.
No,
I don't mean to stress you out.
No, you're so right, because there was things about maybe I'm just scared to love. Maybe I'm scared to let Bound into my heart and I should just do it. I'm going to put Bound as my number 1. You're right.
There we go.
It's a 20 out of 20. Where else could it go?
Fargo streak ends for yours.
Yeah,
That's
Fargo
great.
story. We watched Fargo early. That was episode 5.
It was episode 5.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
But it was bound to end eventually.
Oh my God. Here we go.
There it is. That was the one we needed.
Damn.
Bound.
Feels good. Now
it does feel good. Yeah. I just told my girlfriend that I loved her for the first time. This is that feeling right there. Bound, you are my number 1.
Yeah, there you go. We made it.
There's 2 things that are certain. Bound top, Marvin's Room fucking bottom. Anyways,
do you want to hear some funny Letterboxd reviews?
Yes.
All right. Let's start off at the top here. I got 3 5-star reviews that I'm going to read, and then I had to actually dig to find a really low review.
Good luck.
So here's a 5-star review from Brat. Oh, actually, this is where my fun fact was. Oh. I was looking away from my fun facts. So this is where I found that fun fact. So thank you, Brat. But she says, when executives at some studio read the script, they told the Wachowskis that if they changed the character of Corky to that of a man, they would be interested. The siblings declined, saying that the movie's been made a million times, so we're really not interested in that.
Good for them.
Brad continues to say, hell yeah, fucking right, hell yeah.
An appropriate number of hell yeahs, I would say.
And she has 3 clapping emojis following that. So
that is so bold, because it's so it must be so hard to make this movie and to be able to tell the people giving you enough money to make the movie you want to make. Mm-hmm. No, that's not how we see it.
Yeah.
Bold. I love it.
Especially their directorial debut.
Yeah. And they had the gall to say, no, we're doing this our way.
Good for them. And they were the better for it.
Oh,
because this movie was a big hit, and I'll get into this later, but it's basically the reason that The Matrix exists. Anyways, another 5-star on a rewatch by Sally Jane. The biggest snub in awards show history is this film losing Best Kiss to fucking Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Because it's built up so well. Oh, and the anticipation.
Yeah.
Again, you need several cigarette breaks just to make it through this movie. They build it up so well.
Yeah, and I just feel like, we'll get into awards later too, but I think that not enough people saw this movie at the time.
No, if it just got around to more people, the Academy would probably still ignore it because it has
stuck up assholes. Jerks. Anyways, this one doesn't have a ranking, but it's by Shark. He said, Love Bound. Wish Italians and lesbians were real, though. Best movie ever.
Oh, it's so funny. But they're not. They're unreal.
This is 1.5 by Ginny. Are you fucking serious? The only good thing about this were the sex scenes. Gina Gershon, that's my queer speaking, and the decent cinematography. Everyone who gave this a high rating is too horny to be objective. So Jason, apparently we're too horny to be objective.
For this movie? Yeah, completely. In the first 10 seconds, I was too horny to be objective. They won me over immediately. You know what? You're very wrong. You're right. But you're very wrong. Yeah.
And to contrast that, we got another 5 stars on a rewatch by Willow, who simply says, fucks.
Bound does, and I'm sure they do as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But anyways, What do you think the Academy thought about Bound?
I'm going to assume they didn't even know that it got made.
I'm pretty sure they didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
Because it got no nominations.
Womp womp.
This is going to be one we're talking about.
This may be it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's early to say. This might be the snub, the titular snub.
Might be. Some other awards. It was nominated for some Saturn Awards, though. It was nominated for Best Action Adventure Thriller Film, Best Actress for Gina Gershon, Best Supporting Actor for Joe Pantoliano, Best Supporting Actress for Jennifer Tilly, and Best Writing for Lana and Lilly Wachowski. It didn't win any of those.
God, okay. It should have won all of those, so they got that wrong.
Yeah. And it was nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss, but as one of our Letterboxd reviews have said, it lost Independence Day.
That's disgusting. Oh my God. That's just bigotry in action right there. That was the best kiss. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Okay, well, I have a lot for interesting facts here.
Let's hit them.
So let's just get into this. Okay, so the film was financed with the understanding that Jennifer Tilly was going to play the role of Corky.
Oh.
Not Violet. The actress playing Violet originally dropped out shortly before shooting began. At this point, Gina Gershon became available to do the film. At first, she was going to play Violet, but since she was better suited for Corky, the two decided to switch roles.
That's crazy. Yeah. Being able to do, like, if you were good enough to get that part and then switch to Corky, sorry?
Yeah, so Gina Gershon was cast as Violet because the original actress was Violet dropped out. And Jennifer Tilly, who does play Violet, was cast as Corky.
That is so, I can't. Those characters are so viscerally different that to have the range to just be either of them and give an outstanding performance. Oh my God.
Yeah. I think Jennifer Tilly's voice serves really well for Violet though.
It does. Yeah.
And I can't, like, obviously having seen the film, it's like hard to separate, but I can't really imagine the two being in each other's roles.
Especially because, what's the name of the lady who plays Corky? Gina?
Gina Gershon.
The way that she has like that upper lip thing going on where it's always sassy. I couldn't imagine that anyone else being Corky, because that's the 24/7 sass that Corky needs, and it's in that upper lip.
Yeah. We'll move on. In 1994, the Wachowskis presented the script for the film Assassins to Warner Brothers Pictures. After Lorenzo de Bonaventura, the president of production of Warner Brothers at the time, read the script, he decided to buy the rights to Assassins and two more projects, Bound and The Matrix, in the contract. The first movie that the Wachowskis directed, Bound, became a critical success. Using this momentum, they were asked to direct The Matrix.
That's amazing. What I also love is that this movie was so good that they just got a blank check for as many Matrix movies as they needed to. Run it up to 12 if you want. That was incredible.
Yep. Short one, Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly were nervous about filming the sex scenes, so they prepared by drinking tequila.
Oh, okay. That loosens you up, I guess.
Yeah. The Wachowskis' original director of photography resigned on the grounds that he could not do the film with the limited budget he had, nor did he know anyone he believed could. Subsequently, cinematographer Bill Pope was hired, who knew a bunch of cheap guys, as a quote. Bill Pope would go on to be the cinematographer for all three Matrix films.
Damn. So, you put the work in, maybe at a little bit of a cheaper rate, pays off.
It's about drive.
Yeah.
It's about power.
Well, no, Drive's a different movie.
We stay hungry. Oh. We devour. All right, this is a big one. In a 2014 interview for Vulture, Jennifer Tilly talked about the sex and nudity in this film, how filming a sex scene and being naked with another woman was a lot less stressful than with a man. Here's her quote. Actors are always saying, oh, sex scenes are so technical. Everyone's standing around and watching. It is technical, but there is something about being naked with a member of the opposite sex that you still want them to think that you're hot. There's a reason why people are always having affairs with their leading men. With Gina, it was like really relaxing because you could say things to her that you wouldn't say to other people. Like, can you put your hand on my thigh here so my butt doesn't look so big? Can you hold my breast up this way so it looks more plump and juicy? You would never, ever say those things to a man. Between takes, I would say, Gina, there's a shoe sale at Barney's. If we finish early, we could go over to Barney's and shop for shoes. So it was surprisingly unsexy, but then when you saw it on screen, I was blown away. Violet and Corky have chemistry. They have it in buckets. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Really, oh my God.
She then added, We were a little bit worried because Dino De Laurentiis was a producer, and we were worried that after we finished shooting the scene that he would send it off to Italy and insert some breasts and buttock shots. The Wachowskis said that that was a concern of theirs too, so they decided to cut the love scene in one long continuous shot. They said that way he can't cut into it without it looking really obvious and intrusive. So the day they were supposed to shoot the love scene, it was a closed set. But there were monitors in the hallways, and everybody was clustered around the monitors watching. So the Wachowskis put the camera on a crane, and there were all these elements that they wanted to capture. They wanted to start out on a safe and get the side of my back, and they wanted to pan down to the toes, and they would be yelling through the megaphone, telling us what different parts were on screen. They would yell, toes, and Gina would curl her toes like she was about to come. And then they would say, hand, and my hand was on her crotch, and I would kind of move my fingers a bit, and then they would say, face, and it would be on Gina's face, and Gina would come, quote. So it was very, very technical, and we did 8 takes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Toes.
Yeah. But yeah, God. There was a lot to that little last interview bit.
Yeah.
But
I would like to say those 2 characters do have buckets of chemistry, and I want to bathe in one.
It's good. Okay. Oh, well, do you have any final thoughts?
No, that was it.
I think I did a shower after this episode. Jeez.
Oh, well, we can get showered in presents with Jingle All the Way.
Oh, great. Go watch this fucking movie.
Please. We're going to start a new multi-level marketing thing, and it's you go watch Bound, and you tell 10 of your best friends to watch Bound, and then they tell 10 of their best friends to watch Bound. And maybe if enough people watch this movie, it'll get some Academy Award traction in 1996. It can happen.
Yeah, I think there's like a hindsight awards, which kind of go back in time like a few years and look at some movies. And I believe it actually won some hindsight awards for 1996.
Good.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Looking back, that's great. Yeah, it definitely deserves
so
more
much
attention.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to Season 1, Episode 19 of Snubs and Dubs. As always, you can find us everywhere on social media at Snubs and Dubs. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, etc. We're also on Good Pods, so make sure to check us out there and join our official Discord. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on Bound or on this episode, so please send us a tweet or a message with a question, recommendation, or anything else. I'm also at Kyle Tobiasson on Twitter, and Jason is at Windy_Mills. Of course, all of those links are going to be in the show notes. Make sure to leave a 5-star review and share the show, then come back next week for another episode. Here's a sneak peek of the film we're going to talk about.
All his life, David had a gift that most would applaud.
David could be one of the truly great pianists.
You must be very proud of him.
As proud as a father can be.
That's right. Next episode, we're talking about Shine, which is the last nominee for Best Picture that we're talking about this season. After that, it's 4 other potential snubs and then the winner.
And then the dub.
Yeah. Of course, as we kind of mentioned that we are also going to have a Christmas bonus episode coming out this week on the 24th. So look forward to that. It's going to be on Jingle All the Way. A very fun movie. I can't wait for you guys to hear that one too. So thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. That's a wrap.
Bye for now.